Thank you very much for joining us on today's news review. My name is Diana Mbogwa and I'm joined by one of WTV's senior anchors, Nelly Milia. And thank you, Nelly, for joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah, among the topics that we'll be discussing today is, matters lifestyle, away from the usual politics. And of course, we'll be talking about, yesterday was World AIDS Day, and December is one of the HIV infections awareness month. And, according to the statistics, we're seeing that the United Nations Children's Fund, that is UNICEF, says Kenya is among the 6 countries with the highest number of adolescents infected with HIV/AIDS in the world. This is a very alarming, number, considering, there's so many countries. With among the 6 countries, and the other countries is Nigeria. Tanzania, South Africa, Mozambique, and India. So we really need to, we realize here there's a problem and there's something that should be done. What do you think about this, Nelly?
Actually, it's very sad to know that 26 adolescents are infected every hour.
Yeah.
That means there's something that is missing. Let's look at the fact that there's what is called peer education. Yes. And when you have peer education, you get to teach young girls, young boys about sex. Yes. And about relationships. And I think when it reaches to a level where their sexual ability is, they're too active, yes, then you can tell there's something that is missing. So when you go back to the fact that there's parenting that needs to be farmed up, number one. When the kids are taken to school, there's a certain level that reaches and you start being told about your sexuality, about the results of getting involved in sexual activities, yes, because sometimes it's just the basics that miss out, because you're talking about adolescents. When you talk about 71% of new infections is adolescents, then also us as adults, there's something we're failing on.
There's something we're failing. And one of the alarming issues is that usually we can blame there's that part of sex education in schools. I'm not sure whether our schools are really taking up that as a serious as one. There was that suggestion that it should be like a subject like any other sex education. And there's that part of our parents failing to talk to, the kids about sex, because they shy away. It's not a normal topic, but they should realize that this is something that you can talk about with your child. Because there's also a story that I saw, and the lady says, I wish my mother told me earlier about sex, because I would have avoided some of these things.
Very true. And there's a story that ran on TV, and I was showing young girls, a young girl talking about how she got she became HIV positive at the age of 14, and she had already been married off, yes, and now she's pregnant, expecting a baby, and she's not sure whether to be happy or not, because she knows for a fact that she's dying very soon. And as much as Kenya has really tried to ensure that the ARVs are are out there in large numbers, the fact remains, as parents, we need to work harder. We need to start the education faster, yes, and also have sessions where teenagers, when they get together, you get to know what they're up to. Yes. Get to be your child's friend. When you're your child's friend, then it is easier for you to know what they're doing, and they open up better, and then you're also able to have a conversation based on things that affect them on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, and then there's the mother-to-child infections, reducing. There's the fact that probably in the village or, in rural areas, or even still here in urban areas, some people still don't know that as a mother, if you are infected with HIV, you can still, prevent your child from getting the infection. So there's that part of that education that needs also to be, the mothers need to be informed.
It's true. Yeah. I remember when when I was in primary school, and we were being taught about sex education, and they would bring us those diagrams and figures of guys who have HIV, and it would scare you, and you'd say, you know what, I'll for life be a virgin, because it scares you, and you feel like, this is something that I really don't want to be part of. And also, when you taught about even the part of breastfeeding, when it comes to a mother who is already positive, how to just be careful not to, to breastfeed your child when when you're already positive. So I think also it's a mindset. When you have a positive mindset, it helps you to do the right things and to save a life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So for those people who are even infected with the disease, because there are those people who are living their lives well, it's not the end of the road.
Exactly.
Nowadays there's ARVs, and we must congratulate our president on that bit, that there's the availability of drugs. So when you're infected, don't lose hope or say this is the end of the road for me. There are drugs available, and our president, the government rather, has made it accessible for everyone. So if you have any feedback or comments on this, kindly send them on our SMS 920058. Our Twitter handle is at WTVKE, and our Facebook page at WTV Kenya. Moving on, what else do we have on?
We have something all about food. There's a nutrition, and in this case, the food that you're talking about is about breast milk. We see here it says that it's good to breastfeed your baby throughout the first year of life. I concur with this 100%. Sometimes as mothers, we get to see that you've just gotten a baby and you're so excited the first 3 months, first 6 months of breastfeeding. It's a bit draining because, it's fluid in, fluid out, fluid in, fluid out. But for a fact, it's really important for parents to breastfeed to the 1 year, even 2 years, because that's where the immune system of the child is boosted at best. Yes, sometimes we are quick to introduce the solid foods, which sometimes also affect the child's digestion and everything. But the moment you just set your mind, there are very many advantages of breastfeeding. Number one, you lose weight.
Wow.
Yes. Okay. People really say that I have baby fat, I don't know what to do with it.
That's when a lot of people say they gain weight after they give birth.
And number one that you need to do is when you breastfeed, just you're assured that the baby fat comes off, because that's what the baby is taking off. Number two is your child. It's the advantage to your child. The first 6 months is number one, but then throughout the year, it's very important. Yes. Some of the things that are mentioned that you'll be able to do, your child also gets the advantage of, is that they grow having a very good connection with the mother. Exactly. So you can easily tell that a child is always clinging and cuddling around you, because you have already created the bond. Yes. So some of the things that are said here, we see that there's what to introduce and at what age. We get to see that at the 6th month there are butternut, squash, potatoes and things like that. 8th month you have the chicken. 10th month you have fish. 12th month you have the cucumber, grapes, lychees and all. 15 months you have the fruits, the eggs and all that. So sometimes we are really quick to want to introduce things because before maybe because you want your child to grow faster.
Or is it because, Nelly, you're a mother and some ladies, say like you and me, we are working, we are busy. We want to go back to work very quickly as soon as the maternity leave is over. That is like, say, 3 months or 4 the most. And, after that, I don't have time to breastfeed my baby. I have to, what do you call it? Express, yes. And, I have to leave. And it's not enough for the baby. Is it usually enough when you express and then you leave?
It actually really depends with the mother. Personally, I could not express. But there are those mothers who really express, and you're like, wow. And by the time you take the milk to the house, the child is happy with the results. So I think it's a conscious decision that you make. Some people give up their jobs. There's some people who say, you know what, let me take care of my child. Because what matters the most is the life that we have. The money comes and goes. You can have it in millions. You can have your job, an amazing job, and it comes and goes. So what matters the most is the life that you have, and if you can give the best, if you're able to have an employer who can even help you to balance. I like the idea of a creche. There's this different companies, corporates, Safaricom, Chase Bank, they have creche where you go to work with your child, and then they have contracted very good schools to take care of the children. So they have caregivers and nannies who take care of the children.
So anytime you want to breastfeed, you can actually go and breastfeed your child.
Exactly.
That is a good thing.
Yes, and also your child can be there for like 3 years, when they're 1 all the way to 3 years. So you have a chance also to be with your child. But of course, it's not every company that can do that.
But many companies should adopt that.
Exactly.
And then I don't know what you think about, like I've said, there are many ladies who, you know, they don't want their breasts to, if they feel if they breastfeed, you know, their breast will sag and all that. So they're avoiding that, and they use other forms of milk.
Yes.
Do you think that is the same as giving your child breast milk, or what do you think about that?
It is totally different because one is processed naturally.
Yes.
The second one is processed by companies for commercial reasons. Yeah. So that's number one. When somebody decides that I will not breastfeed because I don't want even my boobs to hang, it's really a disadvantage to yourself, because why are you keeping the baby fat, the milk, for somebody else? Why are you keeping it to yourself? You know, it's not of benefit to you, it's benefit to the child. Secondly, if you don't breastfeed, you can even get lumps on your breast that would cause so much pain that they'll have to be sucked out. Why should you go through that? And this child is waiting for this milk. The other thing is, there's so many ways of also boosting yourself back, because we have bras that really boost you up. We have things that are the corsets that will boost you up. So look beyond today. It's always important. And again, what's the other sign that you've given birth anyway? Exactly. So I think sometimes women, we need to stop being selfish. Give Caesar what he deserves. And in this case, your baby. Stop holding back because you're afraid of standing out and looking good. We have mothers who have 2, 3, 4 kids, and they still look
awesome.
Exactly. And they're following the things that are needed. So your child grows once, so give them the chance.
Well, we are discussing Marta's lifestyle, and if you're a mother or a potential mother like me, make sure you breastfeed your child for at least 6 months or to 1 year. Well, we'll take a short break, but we'll be right back.